Bobby should go live right now. Knob deep as always. He's a chef. He's a master chef. Stirring the fucking pot. Trying to turn friends against friends. What's up? Welcome. First Class Flights. Tonight we're going to have Dom C with us. I'm looking forward to this. I am your host, Nick. For you, Oscar. Oscar's going to stop watching the show now. That's all he stays for. I have to save that to the end of the show to make sure Oscar stays buckled in the entire time. Once I do that, he's got no reason to watch anymore. So, a lot to talk about, as always, with our team. I wonder what it's like to be a fan of a team when there's never any news stories going on. The biggest story in Cincinnati is the color of Joe Burrow's hair. And here we are, leading the national media, as always, and we're 2-4. Let's get to 3-4. Let's fuck some shit up in that shithole of Sleep With Your Sister, Western Pennsylvania. What are we going with? You know what we're going with. It's Wednesday. I don't care. It's Thursday somewhere. Ladies and gentlemen, Blitz BK. Good evening. Welcome to Thursday Night Throwdown. I'm your host, Nick.
When the blitz comes, there's no one to block him.
It's 10 o'clock, get ready for the showdown. 9 toes down, Nick, ready for the throwdown. We proud Jets fans, we don't play with them pronouns. Best roster in the league, we playing with the pros now. They tell us slow down, call us delusional, call us losers as usual. But this season will be beautiful. Shotgun with you know who, but run it instead. Lad Hall hit the hole hard.
That's what she said.
Ground and pound like it's 2010. The chat, we got many friends. Johnny wearing hats for super chat and watch him breathe again. Nick put the link so Bobby can call and speak again. Bonesy did the blunt, I got the weed and pens. We speaking green again. Jets news like it's CNN. A-Rod and Charles Gorman is like we seeing twins. Feeding tins, pounding on these bleeding fins. Week 14 and 18 when they needing wins. They ain't seeing them. We run the ball and play defense. This is AFC hell where other teams repent. Ladies and gents, welcome to MetLife. This is Jet Life. We bleed green, this our best life. We just nice.
Let's say what's up to everyone. Dark Soldier's here. Johnny's in the house. Bobby. Mr. Bonesy's out on the prowl. Na-na-na-na. Assist My Suicide is here. VR's here. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get into it. I got a text message today from a longtime viewer and friend. And he made some good points. I'm going to start off with them. I'm going to bring it up right now. That's what she said. Where did you go? My text. I'm not a fan of the Woody Johnson should sell the team takes. I'm not. And here's why. He spends money. He goes and he gets players. He'll cut any check. He'll allow his GM to make any trade. He's never putting a kibosh on the team. Has he hired the wrong people to make football decisions? Yes. Throughout time? Yes. Idzik. McCagnon traded away all our future draft capital. I always quote this. Bleacher Report had an article in 2020. It was teams that spent the most in free agency from 2010 to 2019. Daniel Snyder, Washington, was number one, just over $1 billion. Woody Johnson and the Jets were second at $975 million. He's not afraid to spend money. He's not afraid to try to be great. The problem is he had the wrong people making the decisions on what they thought was great. He tried to get his own stadium. The Dolans shot him down with New York City and used their political pull in the city to deny it. He got Chad Pennington's father-in-law into the best cancer treatment center in the United States and paid for it. Never said anything about it. Chad brought it up like 4 years later. People who think Robert Kraft is a good owner because Bill Belichick and Tom Brady made them great, you're foolish. Jerry Jones won Super Bowls in the 90s when he gave Jimmy Johnson control of the team. Since Jerry Jones has had control of the team and owner and GM, they haven't won a fucking thing. Owners don't win games. A good owner will let the football people do football moves. Sure, when you're going to make a trade the caliber of Aaron Rodgers, Davante Adams, your owners are going to be involved. They got to sign off on the money. But I hate the takes. Like, what is a new owner going to get you? People say, sell the team. Okay, to who? Why? What's the new owner going to do? Just say, sell the team. It's emotional bitching. Give me logic. Tell me why. Tell me what a new owner will do that to appease you. Modine, if there's anything that I will never shit talk on this show, it is the quality massage and those who perform the act and then the act after the act. I disagree with you a lot, Mo, but not now. Not today. Not over this. Just so everyone knows, Tom Ace is setting up a booth. We'll have more information on where this booth is, but Tom is willing to appreciate all of the fans. So I want to start off with that with Woody Johnson. I think Woody Johnson gets a lot of hate just because people have displaced anger. I really do. Owners don't make much of a difference. They're going to spend the money. They're going to let their football people have their budget. They're going to let their football. If anything, they'll put a kibosh on a player if a player's had a made a criminal history or DUI or domestic. They might rule on that, but they're not getting hands on. So a new owner, you could make me owner of the Jets tomorrow. I'm not changing anything. Of course, I'm putting myself as head coach, but other than that, like, I'm not going to do anything crazy. I would. Yeah, the more I'm thinking about it, I would do some crazy things to pump up ticket sales, but I can't discuss that. I'd be a fucking lunatic owner. I'd never get approved. So, wanted to give some love to Dark Soldier. Dark Soldier messaged me today. Long time viewer. So let's get into the current state of the Jets. We're going to be joined with Dom C in a few minutes. Some takes that we just had from the Aaron Rodgers press conference today. They asked him flat out, what, with Davante Adams restructuring his contract, what do you think that means? He goes, well, he's got a new family, 2-month-old baby or a young baby. You think he's going to move his family cross country for 2 months? I don't think so. Basically saying, hey, we're in this for now and for next year as well. Minimum. I like that. That gives you Davante and Garrett locked in with Rodgers, with Brees, with Braylon. Lazard still has 2 more years left. I'm sure that can be reworked and lower that money a little bit. Oh, I make Steinbrenner look soft. So I think everybody had concerns with Davante Adams coming in, right? The concerns were, how long is he going to be here? Is it a couple month rental? These guys are happy. You saw it yesterday. You saw it on McAfee. You saw Davante lean in and give a look. That's a sign of joy. You can't fake that type of look. That's just pure joy and excitement to be back with your guy. He hasn't had a good situation in Vegas. He went there to be with Carr. They got rid of Carr. They stopped playing Carr at the end of the season 2 years ago to make sure they can get rid of him. Now, what happens this year? You go into a season with Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell. I would have a hamstring injury too. That miraculously healed on a flight somewhere over Nebraska. That's what you got to do. Fuck it. Who cares? He's here. We got him. Let's spread it out. Let's keep teams in the nickel or the dime. And then we can run Brees and Braylon up the middle time and time again. They want to stop the run, shred them. They want to stop the pass, shred them in the run. It's going to open up the offense. It's going to be complementary football time and time again. You can do motions, you can do play actions, you can do a little bit of waggles, you can move that pocket and let Rodgers get out to the side. He loves throwing that arrow route to Devontae. Devontae's a little bit bigger body than Garrett, a lot bigger body than Garrett. There's a lot of trust there. He knows where he can put the ball. He knows what Devontae will do. He knows what they're thinking. He knows what he's seeing on the defensive side. Excuse me. So I'm looking forward to this. It might not be a finished product on Sunday night, but you're going to see some glimpses of greatness, and you're going to see an offense that we've never seen before. You're going to see a very, very complete offense. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. I want to play something for you guys right now. I want to play. Someone mentioned Charles. You know what that means when you mention Charles. You get to watch the video, and we'll be back right after this. I just got to take care of something with the kids.
There's been a lot of you out there asking about who he be. Well, he's about to let you know.
He's Charles.
This rap is so hot, you'll play it on a loop. You'll never get the recipe for chicken noodle soup. Super a spider or even a bat. Got nothing on me or Bobby with his hat. Lady's gotta be a 10 if I'm gonna date her. Shout out to my homie, his name is Gator. I'm Charles.
To all you other guys trying to rap on Jake's show, got nothing on this guy and his flow.
He's Charles.
These bars be so hot, I'll get invited on Fountain. You know who won't? That hater, Alan. My comic book and movie takes are so hot and wild. Since my last verse, Johnny had another child. My YouTube is blowing up and I'm becoming a star. Like takes are fresh like the clothes on VR. I'm Charles.
Jets, Yankees, comics, hip-hop. Nobody compares when it comes to him.
He's Charles.
I see everyone on Jake's show trying to prop bars. I'm the only one jumping over cars. Blowski calls the show and he's always really loud. Shout out to Nick, you know he'd be proud. I don't like Zach or his family, they're Mormon. First name Charles, last name Gorman. I'm Charles, motherfucker.
You just witnessed the debut of a proud New York Jet fan and a Jake Asman production. Brought to you by the man, the myth, the legend himself.
I'm Charles.
Shout out to Charles, the great, fantastic hip-hop savant, Charles Gorman. Clancy, that's a really good point. And raise your hand if you shredded Lazard time and time again. I did. You guys know it. I absolutely hated this guy. Didn't want the ball in his hands at all, and all of a sudden he's tied for the league lead in touchdowns. It's pretty wild. We've watched many players, Le'Veon Bell, and the list goes on and on and on and on, come here and be awful and never recover. And it's actually pretty impressive what Lazard's doing so far this season. And it was week 1. I was like, all right. And then it's week 3 and week 4 and week 5 and week 6. And it's like, holy shit, there's consistency here. And when you have Adams and Wilson teaming up to one another, teaming up together, and potentially being on the same side of the field, it's going to open up the backside to either Mike Williams, Conklin, Lazard. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. So there's going to be a lot of opportunities for a lot of players. Lazard's going to have a chance. Allen's going to have a chance. Brees is going to have a lot of chances in the passing game. Safeties are going to have to be back. I'm very happy Todd Downing's running this talent and not Hackett. I am. Oh, excuse me. Let's see what you guys got to say while we're waiting for Dom to get in here. As always, you guys know any super chats, we'll cut the line. Questions, comments, critiques, bitching, jokes, whatever you got. They'll get on screen as soon as I see it. Gifted memberships, a great way to support the channel. We had a little explosion last night. That's what she said, with some memberships. Thank you again to Addison, Clancy, Knob, and Boba Jet. You guys are fantastic. I appreciate you. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Stay football focused, Toots. Stay football focused. But big explosion last night. Kind of looked like this. I don't agree, Wild Wave. Here's why. You're seeing the Quinnen of 2020 and 2021. Before JJ came in. Before I was saying long before this channel in 2020, 2021, Quinnen Williams was getting doubled and eliminated because there's no presence on the outside. And as soon as there was a presence on the outside, Huff, JJ, JFM, you saw Quinnen really play well and produce. But now when you have someone like Michael Clemens that a weak-ass nickel cornerback can line up and block and eliminate, there's no reason for the guard and center can double Quinnen often, especially when you got these idiots lining up in a wide 9 who are ineffective. I'm more effective than Michael Clemens in a wide 9. So I think Quinnen is showing the effects of losing JJ more than anybody. But ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I'm about to bring in one of my good friends and one of my absolute favorite people in the world to talk to about football and life. But he's not available, so I'm bringing in Dom C instead. What's up, buddy?
Shiner, what's going on, dude?
How you doing, pal?
I'm well. You?
All right.
Just all right?
I'm all right.
Good.
Voice a little sore from the game Monday night. My body's sore from running over kids at football practice today. I had a pick 6, and we had a little fun with the 8th graders today. You know, we're getting down the end of the season.
Yeah.
My one coach took one team, I took the other, and we were playing. They were in pads, but I was wrecking shit. I did what Josh Allen did to Clemens the other day. I kept one off the edge, ran over everybody, as I'm running, I'm like, "Don't you tackle me!" And they didn't know what to do, so I took it for a touchdown. And the kids went nuts. And then the other coach tried to throw a Hail Mary, and I picked it and returned it, ran off the field, and purposely ran into the soccer goal post and like fell backwards with it to the ground. I got video of it. The kids were laughing pretty good. They had some fun. We've had some injuries, and we've got our ass kicked the last couple of weeks, so it was nice to see them having fun.
Oh, man. Sorry to hear that, but glad they're having fun. That's what it's about, right? Learn a little something.
Absolutely. You know what I'm about. So, welcome to First Class Flights. This is like First Class Flights with Nick Shine, and you were on the plane. So, what I do here is when I ask you some questions, okay? Maybe a little background, and then we'll work our way up to the present, right? First things first. Let's start with little baby boy Dom C. How does baby boy Dom C become a Jet fan? What made you choose this team? Who was inspirational to you? Or did you go rogue?
No, so this is a true story. So my dad, I'm the first generation born here. My dad's an Italian immigrant. My mom's an Italian immigrant. My dad came here in 71. And early 70s, my family are soccer fanatics. But my dad loves all sports. So my love for sports really comes from my old man. He is a Raiders fan. He just, he just win baby was the generation and the team that he followed. And I had on my mom's side of the family, they all kind of centered in Corona, Queens, and my uncle, the youngest in the family from my mom's side, was a football player.
Yeah.
And he looked, when I tell you, in the early 80s, he looked just like Mark Gastineau. Long, feathered, wavy, long hair. He was a defensive end. He wore 99, not because of Gastineau, just did, but there was always a correlation. So that, and the fact that they lived, my mom and her family grew up minutes away from Shea Stadium. I just gravitated towards the Jets, man. I wish there was something more about it. You gravitate towards the team you gravitate towards. So my earliest memories were not, were Mark Gastineau was probably on the tail end of his career. The Richard Todd, Ken O'Brien days. That's when I really, really became a diehard Jets fan. I remember a game they were playing the Patriots. Tony Eason was quarterback.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I want to kick the crap out of these guys. And they ended up blowing us out like 40-14 or something like that. So
that was 1985, I believe, right? That was the year they went to the Super Bowl and they got blown out by the Bears, right?
Yep. So
rough time.
Some Wild Waves, and you live in Corona, Wild Waves? Yeah, I was Corona Park was kind of like my stomping grounds. My grandfather always used to put up all the lights around Christmas time throughout Corona Park. Go to Lemon Ice King, the whole nine. So yeah,
nice.
Man.
Nice. So you're about the same age as me.
Mm-hmm.
Give me some of your favorite players growing up as a child. I know you mentioned a few names already, but who was young Dom C running around on the streets pretending to be?
Can't see it, but that's Wesley Walker.
Wesley. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
I kind of like I said, I liked Gastineau just because he was, loud and rambunctious and everything
very
like the NFL.
Right?
Yeah, very eccentric. One of my favorite when I started playing football, and I started playing football young. I mean, not as young as the kids do these days, but I was probably in, 10, 11 years old. And one of my favorite players of all time, because I liked college football a lot, and I loved Brian Bosworth. Yeah. He was man until he got ran over by Bo Jackson. Then became a Bo Jackson fan. So
he still hasn't got scraped off the floor.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I loved Wesley Walker. I loved Altoon. I'm trying to think on the defensive side. Maybe a little bit later, as I got older, Marvin Jones was a favorite. He's a favorite Jet of mine.
Same.
Yeah. And then I love the Jets, but the guys I really gravitated towards and really that really helped me fall in love with the sport weren't happened to be Jets, Bo Jackson and Brian Bosworth, to name a few.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're I assume based off of that, you had the Sports Illustrated subscription coming to the house.
Oh, absolutely.
That's how we got exposed to those players, right? They were big on the SI cover back in the day.
Yeah. Amen.
Nice. Do you remember your first game?
My first football game wasn't a Jets game, actually. I know I went to the Jets game when I was a kid that I don't remember. My first actual real memory was a New Jersey Generals game.
Wow.
At Giant Stadium.
Herschel Walker, baby. Yeah. Yeah. That's great. My father used to deliver the phone wire for Bell Atlantic before it became New Jersey Bell and then Verizon. And he dropped off at the stadium one time and they were practicing and he's standing in the tunnel watching practice and waiting for them to unload the truck. And he's like, Nick, this running back comes to me. He's huge. And he runs right up to me, runs through the back of the end zone, and he's like 5 feet from me. And he goes, "How you doing, sir?" He goes, "Wow, you're pretty impressive." He goes, he turns around, I see him jogging away. Herschel Walker. He goes, "Nick, his thighs were tree trunks."
Yeah,
He goes, "I never saw legs on a man built like that who could run like that."
Yeah. But I spent a lot of time as an adolescent, or 9, 10, 11, 12, in that mid to late 80s run when the Giants were huge and the Giants won the Super Bowl and Parcells and whatnot. So everyone around me was a Giants fan, and some of my closest friends had Giants season tickets. So I went to a lot more Giants games as a youngster than I did Jets games. I don't remember what I don't have a clear memory of my first Jet game per se, but there's been hundreds.
Yeah, no, I'm sure. Favorite team, favorite Jet team that they've ever had. Like maybe it might not be the team that did the best, maybe the one that special circumstances happened, or memorable moments, being at the stadium, better seats at certain games. What was the team that, if I'd say, Dom, give me the year, what was your favorite Jet team?
Oh man,
you get the hard questions here, man.
Yeah, I mean, I happen to I think it was 87. I take a liking to Bruce Coslet's first year because I remember Coslet being the what Ben Johnson is now, like the new age, new wave offensive coordinator. So I remember that game. I remember that year very precisely. I think it was 87, Coslet's first year, 87 or 88. I don't know if it's my favorite team, man. They've all caused me the same amount of joy and misery at the same time. So, I thought the Rex Ryan years were fun.
He was the head coach from 90 to 93.
Who? Coslet? Yeah.
Went to the playoffs in 91.
Yeah. So I thought the Rex Ryan years were fun.
Yeah.
I like that group. I don't know. I think my favorite team might be. Nah, I guess that's. I mean, it's hard to get off the Rex Ryan years. It's probably because there's the last time we ever really had anything worth a lick, if you ask me.
Yeah.
So
facts. I have an interesting nugget / trivia question for you.
Shoot.
This is something that I found out not too long ago, a couple months ago, over the summer. We're doing a wheel with Adam, and I just, I sometimes search some things up, and I came across this. Do you know who the Jets' offensive coordinator was in 85 and 86 when they went 10-6 and 11-5 and had an explosive offense?
Who was the head coach? Was it Walton?
It had to be Walton. Walton was before Coslet, right?
Yeah. No, I don't.
It was Rich Kotite.
Get out of here.
I swear to you. I found that out that night on the show, and I couldn't believe it.
Huh.
Tom Ace knows. He's why I bring that up all the time. And anyone who grew up in that era knew that Walker, Toon, McNeil, Schuler, O'Brien was an explosive offense. Who would have thought, with the disaster that Rich Kotite was as a head coach, he was the offensive mastermind.
Right?
Crazy. Favorite moment as a Jet fan, Dom?
Can't wait was one of them. That game, beating Tom, the Bart Scott interview. I think it was Sammy's first game as a Jet. Was that the 30-3 shellacking in Detroit on Monday Night Football?
I think it was 48-13 because he threw a pick six on a first pass.
Something like that. Yeah, that game was a lot of fun because you finally really thought that, like that was an offensive barrage. You finally thought that you had your quarterback. Both of those moments really stick out. I loved, me, I'm a draft nerd. I
never noticed. You hide it.
I loved that. I guess that was whatever year that was, 2000, the Pennington draft when we had the four firsts.
Abraham, Ellis, and Beck.
Yep. Abraham, Ellis, Pennington, And Beck, that was a really, really fun time. Yeah. And listen, I mean, there's been some moments I thought last year's opener, although Aaron went down, I thought the rebound and the way that we won that game, that's a moment that'll be etched with me forever. Because, what's his face? The little midget scored literally right in front of me. You know, that's my end zone. Those are my tickets.
You just called Gibson the little midget?
Yeah. Gibson,
number
Gibson,
one, awesome.
yeah. Gibson
Number
scored
two.
literally right in front of me, man. So that was pretty cool. And what was cool about it, it's not that Aaron Rodgers went down, it's just like the whole aura of the game, and everyone kind of hung in there. We beat Buffalo, but I did it like my whole family was there. You know, my kids, my wife, and it was a cool experience for sure.
Oh, definitely. I don't know if you caught this yet. I think I sent this to you. That was Monday. Good Morning America.
Yeah, I didn't see that. No.
Yeah, he was there, and Bruce Smith was there. I know I sent the heckling videos to you guys.
Correct. I saw that.
Heckling Bruce Smith. Well, I was proud of that, but now that you brought up Bart, I did get to talk to Bart. I bombarded Bart live on YouTube, and he got a good chuckle out of it. And I'll send you the video. But he heckled me a little bit. It was pretty funny. It came out really good. I played into it nicely. I thought it came out really good. And then shout out to Gator, who chopped up the video for me immediately and made like a highlight of it, which was awesome. Yeah, screw you, Bart. You said only 2 subs, man. It's been like 13, I think we're at now. Take that, pal. Yeah, he got it to me pretty good. That's what she said. So let's work our way up to the present, Jets. Okay. There's a lot going on. Usually I interview longer, but there's a lot going on this week, right?
Okay.
What does the addition of Davante Adams mean to you? How do you envision the offense changing, improving, and what's the domino effect of this trade?
Yeah, good question. I think it's going to. I think it's going to open up and open up space and give more advantageous matchups to everyone who handles an offensive skill position. Not only is there obviously a synergy and connection between he and Rodgers that you see works very effectively with with Allen Lazard. Now, picture the connection that Rodgers has with Allen Lazard, except with a player who's bigger, faster, runs tighter routes, can catch the ball, and really dominate as a true alpha. That's what you're getting. So I think it makes the offense more explosive. I think it opens up possibility. It opens up a lot more possibilities because not only does Adams be in there kind of assure that Garrett is not going to get bracketed or see the number one all the time. He will see the number one at times, but it opens up the possibilities of having him in the slot where he can use his shiftiness and agility with two-way breaks. It opens up the possibilities of having Lazard in the slot a little bit more, which I think he's, prototypical big slot, very, very good blocker. I think he can help there. It opens up, the idea that with wide receivers such as Adams and Lazard and Garrett Wilson on the field, teams are going to be a little less likely to, scoop in heavier boxes. So it's going to, free up more space for the running backs in the running game. So I think the domino effect plays into that. Plus, it's clear and it's sad, because you hate to see it, but for whatever reason, maybe it's just the lack of time together that, there seems to be a disconnect with Aaron Rodgers and Mike Williams. And, based off of, the transgressions that happened today, it's probably safe to assume Mike Williams has played his last game as a Jet. And I think that
they pulled him off practice field, right? They didn't let him practice. I went from one job.
They didn't let. It's not that they didn't let him practice. He was excused from practice for personal reasons.
Feelings.
Probably they said, hey, listen, why don't you just, I'm sure the conversation somewhat, like he's not happy. I get it. Why don't you just, take some time off, let your agent try to work out a deal somewhere else or something like that. That's my guess.
I would love to trade him for a big, fat, run-stuffing D tackle. I don't even need a pick. Just give me a fat D lineman that you can put next to Quinnen on run-stuffing downs and stop this double wide nine bullshit. All you're inviting people to do are the run-off tackle right at Michael Clemens because he's not quick enough to get from a wide nine and cover the B gap.
Well,
could.
You don't have to necessarily cover the B gap, but what you need to do is you need to be in sync and in tune with everyone within the front seven. Like a lot of the stuff that you saw in the first half in Buffalo was very deceiving. Now, I'm not downplaying the fact that our defensive line is, top to bottom, probably less talented than it was last year. That's a thing. Solomon Thomas is, he's a role player at best. He's playing way too many snaps. Michael Clemens is a role player at best. He's playing way, way too many snaps. And Will McDonald, I think, has a very, very good skill set, but I think he's still, although he's better, I think I think it's an even wash between Will McDonald and Bryce Huff. They both affect the game in different ways. Bryce Huff might have had a better get off and get more pressure, but I think Will McDonald finishes better and it's a little bit better versus the run, but he's still probably in my eyes and I think really realistically in the eyes of Joe Douglas, like, if Will McDonald in a perfect situation, if we had JJ, if we had Reddick, would probably only be on the field about 50% of the time, just like Huff was. So I think that, I think he's being pressed and playing a little bit too much. And, and the first half of Buffalo, like they weren't necessarily the problem. Okay. The problem really was not having Michael Carter in the slot to fit the run and the linebackers fit in the run. The linebacker, Quincy Williams, I love Quincy. He's arguably been the best yet this year. He did not have a good game on Monday night. He did not have a good game.
Can I give you some pushback on that before you go any further?
You sure could.
Okay. So I've been big on this since the 49er game. They destroyed us in the run every time we had our guys out in double wide nine. You have 5 offensive linemen against 2 D tackles, and then you can scrape and get to the second level, and you just run the ball up the middle. The Bills, whenever Clemens was out in a wide nine, or even Will was in a wide nine, they ran off tackle. Now your guard can double the D tackle and then scrape and get to the linebacker, and they were going wide on us time and time again. I don't get why you do double guys in wide nine. You're giving a 5-on-2 in the trenches. You're giving them the advantage, and you're just inviting them to run.
Yeah, well, I thought it was interesting that Buffalo ran a lot at Sauce Gardner. They identified, and in the formations, they schemed it well because in the formations with no wide receiver, no slot or anything on that side, just the tight end, Sauce would be playing tight. And they pressed that way a lot of the times from that formation when Sauce was that way. So,
why would?
So yeah. Listen,
he hasn't shown the ability to come up, be aggressive, and make a tackle. He'll get run over. He'll shoestring tackle. So you're still falling forward and getting 5, 6, 7 yards, if not more.
I think right now, this defensive front seven, especially with that CJ Mosley, and that's not a knock on Sherwood. I think Sherwood's been great. But he's not the run defender that CJ Mosley is. He is not the run defender. He might be a more sure tackle. He might be a lot more agile. He might be able to help a little bit more in pass sets or in coverage. He might get sideline to sideline a little bit better. But nobody fit the run and stack and shed blockers to the extent on this team as CJ Mosley. So, I think that's a big piece of what's missing in the team right now. You're asking this front seven to have to play perfect, and they haven't. They haven't. So they're still doing they're still making adjustments. The adjustments are coming too late, but you're relying on on what you're coming out with, and to have to play perfect, and they just haven't played perfect. Listen, I think Michael Carter being out really, really hurts the run game because he's a sure tackler. I know he's small and he's a slot corner, but people don't realize how much they matter in run defense.
Yeah, agreed. And they hit a lot of third down, 3rd and 6 crossing routes that Michael Carter usually eliminates, and you don't want to throw that way.
Yeah,
Oliver had a bad game. It's just, he had the one pass defense in the end zone where I thought the tight end, I said to Nikki, I'm like, they're going tight end right up the seam. And he recovered underneath and got a hand on the ball. But Michael Carter's different. Michael Carter, you don't even want to throw to him on a crossing route because you know how tight he's going to have the coverage. So
yeah, they I was going to say something. Now I forgot. Yeah, listen, you got to give a lot of credit to Joe Brady and the Buffalo offensive scheme because, on those mesh concepts, those crossing routes or whatnot. If you watch, you always saw the inside guy. Always Mac Hollins. And what is Mac Hollins very good for? He's big, just like Lazard. He's big and he's an outstanding blocker, right? So they'd use him, when somebody's pressed up, when they were pressing up and in zero coverage to kind of make contact in that, in that 5-yard zone and kind of just disrupt the flow of the defense and let a Shakir get wide open or let a Dalton Kincaid get wide open. I mean, and Josh Allen's not going to miss those passes, So it is what it is.
Very good point. What's your thoughts about Tyron Smith and the fact that he's turned into Wayne Hunter since being a Jet?
Yeah, listen, it's been a rough go. There's been moments where Tyron Smith has looked great. But the moments that he hasn't looked great have kind of clearly outweighed. I think he's it's funny. 7 weeks ago, we're 6 weeks into the season. 7 weeks ago, we were clamoring. This is what an offensive line looks like. This is what it's like to play with a real left tackle. 7 weeks into it, they're ready. He's on the side of milk cartons and they're ready to fucking egg his house and shit like that. So,
do you have an address? I got a good one.
So, listen, I just think maybe again in Jets fashion, there might be something to the precipitous drop off that Dallas obviously saw coming. Now, Dallas is a weird situation because of their cap situation, so they couldn't re-sign everybody. But yeah, maybe it's a sign if somebody's letting an all-pro, a 33-year-old all-pro, 10-year all-pro go, who hasn't been able to stay healthy. Maybe there's reasons for it, you know. And listen, it was always going to be some sort of very low-lying reclamation project in a sense to hope that A, he stayed healthy for the whole season, and B, he played up to that level. I just didn't think that everyone expected him to fall off the cliff so precipitously, if you will.
I got an idea. You don't want to bench him, right? He's an all-pro, former all-pro, future Hall of Famer. You don't want to bench him. How about you move his veteran day off from Wednesday to Sunday? Just say, hey, man, we're going to give you off. Listen, you practice on Wednesday. You deserve Sunday off. Olu, go give it a shot. Let's see what you do at left tackle.
Oh, listen, I don't think this is the week to do it.
I agree.
With TJ Watt in there, you want to have, listen, Olu's good, and he's going to be. I really think he's going to be very, very good. But he's still a 21-year-old rookie who needs to build some NFL strength. He's much more finesse right now, and you don't want TJ TJ Watt just running right through the chest of Olufashinu. Not probably the not the ideal situation, but listen, if things go if things get unfortunately bad or go haywire, come week 10 or 11, I think that it's a possibility that they start to make that move and get Olu some much needed reps at left tackle.
Every position in the NFL besides quarterback and offensive line, you see rotations, right? Linebackers will get, D-line gets rotated, secondary gets rotated, receivers get rotated, running backs get rotated, tight ends get rotated. Well, why can't you give a tackle a drive here and there?
Well,
especially a guy that you drafted at round 1, especially a guy that you have labeled to be your left tackle of the future. Why not give him a drive? Why not give him a drive here and there and start to work him in? If Tyron Smith continues playing this poorly, and if Olu starts to get it, you ride with them a little more.
Yeah, listen, I don't know if that idea has been used. I mean, Baltimore last year ran 6 linemen. They alternated in tackles and stuff. A lot of that was because Morgan Moses had that torn pec that he played through. Guys, tough as nails. It's not an outlandish situation. Other teams have done it. I just don't know if the Jets are ready and willing to do that with a 40, just kind of substitute in or put a 21-year-old rookie in there blocking with Aaron Rodgers. Like I said, if things go south, which the stark reality is that it's not out of the question.
Yeah.
I think you could see Olu implanted as the starting tackle, by, if we are on a streak and we're 5-7, 5-8, you could see Olu fashion of finishing up the season.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Absolutely. Give me your take on the running back tandem so far and the utilization and the production and what do you see?
I see a lot of Jets fans who are frustrated.
They always are.
I see a lot of like pent up kind of anger being angled at certain people. One of those people is being Breece Hall. I think we got to remember Breece Hall is probably one of the most talented running backs in the league. Has he had a good season? Not up to Breece Hall standards so far. I thought you saw a lot of what he was capable of this past week, when he had 155 combined yards from scrimmage. You saw the old burst as he broke one up the sideline. I still wish that he didn't try to beat Taylor Rapp with the up the sideline. I wish he kind of broke that into the field side, and you would have had 50 yards to make a move and beat Taylor Rapp. Like I said, I think that's what you see. You see enough. You see the capabilities, and you want to see him finish. I'll say the same thing about Garrett, man. It's hard to knock Garrett Wilson. 37 receptions, most targeted wide receiver, doing everything possible that he can. Man, come down with that grab in the end zone. I know that Taylor Rapp laid the wood on him. I get it. But, like the big dogs come down with that. And I'm not saying he's not going to be a big dog, but like you really want to see that. You really want to see Breece break that one into the field and beat Taylor Rapp 1-on-1 and score a touchdown there and not get knocked out at the 6 where we get or at the 3 where we end up getting no points. So yeah,
he slowed down. That was coming right at me. I was in 123. He's coming right up the sideline, right at us.
Well, he slowed down because he tried to slow down to put a stop, like a little stop and go move on him. Like I said, if he breaks that to the field, and then Taylor Rapp has to stop his momentum, which is going towards the sideline, and turn, either do a baseball turn and come back, or plant and come back. Like he's getting by Taylor Rapp there, and that's a touchdown. Like that's a thing. So, listen, I think a lot of Breece's struggles have been scheme specific. He's a guy who needs to get out in space. He's much more a fit for that type of running scheme, that outside zone scheme where he can, put his foot in the ground, one cut and get vertical and take and kick it into another gear, And I've liked what I've seen from Braylon Allen. Listen, Braylon Allen wasn't my favorite running back in the class. This whole running back class wasn't my favorite running back class of all time. But I thought that, he could bring exactly what he's bringing. And that's a guy with phenomenal contact balance, who's a big bruiser, who can get you short yardage, who seems to always gain yards. And I've been very impressed with the amount that he's played, the amount of trust that the offensive staff and Aaron Rodgers put into him. I've been impressed with I've been impressed with both of the pass protection from both running backs. I've been impressed with what they do out of the backfield, even though Brees, got to catch that third down in the first drive on Monday, but, que sera. I've been impressed with what Braylon Allen's done with the ball in his hands as a receiver.
Now that wide receiver has been addressed, Chuck Clark out, run D tackle, Michael Carter's out, DJ Reed's out. I don't know if he's labeled out this week. I just assume. Yeah,
he's not gonna. I don't think they're gonna play. I don't think Carter or Reed are gonna play. You're gonna be down. You know what? If there's a game, we have those two down.
The next 2 weeks, right? The next 2 weeks, you don't care if your secondary is light.
Yeah. So
if we don't give up any defensive touchdowns to Pittsburgh, I can't see Pittsburgh outscoring us. I can't see them going up and down the field, especially if they're taking Justin Fields out and putting Russell Wilson in. They're doing us a favor, because Justin Fields will run for 125 yards on us. You run everyone deep, and then you let them just run towards Michael Clemens' side and go get first down after first down. And I would just keep running it again until you stop it, because Michael Clemens can't. He is a liability. He is a disability at the end. That's his only ability, is to be disabled. He does nothing. Go watch Don. I know you love watching film. Go watch this fucking childish skip that he does. He lines up in a wide 9. He's down on 4. He gets up and he skips, and then he starts to try to go again. Like, what the fuck are you doing, jumping in the air to try to trick somebody? What are you, shot faking in basketball? What the fuck is your plan? I saw it happen multiple times the other day, and I was so angry.
I love it.
And I love that Deion Dawkins talks shit like Michael Clemens is somebody relevant. Like, oh, you beat Michael Clemens? Congrats, dude. What is Michael Clemens? Just because Michael Clemens talks shit doesn't mean Michael Clemens can play.
Yeah.
Very, very disappointed that he is getting the play, like you said earlier, that the percentage of snaps that he is. I would almost go to a 3-4 and take him the fuck out and have Sherwood and have 3 linebackers behind.
Yeah, well, listen, we're not too far from it, man.
Yeah. Some of us were calling for it last year. I know you know how much I hate him. I can't stand watching this guy play football. The best thing he's ever done is show up with a fucking baseball bat and no shirt on. I wish he got hit with the fucking baseball bat in his fucking knees and it wasn't on the roster. But with the safeties, with Ashton Davis just being a liability, as soon as he came in the game, Buffalo went right at him multiple times in a row. Do you see us making any other moves before the deadline? Do you see a run stuffer coming in? Do you think if we're selling Mike Williams off, do you think we get a player in return, or do you think it's a pick? Well, what's your thoughts? I see you shaking your head. No,
I think you probably get a pick. You do a JD. You're going to get a JD special. Maybe get a 5th for Williams and a 6th or something along those lines. Listen, are they done making moves? Maybe not. Maybe if somebody gets jostled free, like, there's rumors that Quentin Jefferson is the odd man out in the rotation as a healthy scratch last week in Cleveland. They could be resetting, resetting the clock and going to the young guys. Michael Hall Jr., who they spent the 2nd round draft pick last year on, is now eligible. He was
Michigan,
Ohio State. He was suspended or suspended from team activities as they because I don't know, he did something. I don't know if it was a gun charge or hit his girl or
Jesus.
something
Did he-
along those lines.
Did he punch his quarterback? Was it that bad?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he didn't tip the masseuse. Who knows? But I could see them going young, and I could see Quentin Jefferson maybe getting jostled free. So, a reunion like that would make sense. But I don't see any other big moves happening. Other than I still think that the only solution to Hassan Reddick is him signing and him joining this team.
Yeah.
That's going to happen. I don't think that they're going to trade him. I think they're trying to, but I don't think that they're going to trade him, especially to the NFC where you have to commit a second round pick in 26. They could do that. I see if they got some high value back, but I don't think they're going to get any value back for, if they got a third back in 26, I think they would make the trade and give up the second.
Not with JD. Third. No, I'll take fours. I'll take twos. No three. Not with this history.
Yeah, I think that they could. If someone gave them a 3, I think they would take it in a heartbeat and just sacrifice a round. Give up the 2 and take the 3, but you ain't getting the 3 for him. So I think when it's all said and done, he's going to be a Jet. And
you
maybe
don't think Detroit? You don't think they can hang him out there for Detroit with their horrific injury that Hutchinson had?
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I think for them to lock in that condition where they have to trade a 2, I think they would need to be overwhelmed or wowed with the deal, and I just don't think anyone's going to trade anything overwhelming or wow, that wow factor for Hassan Reddick with all the nonsense he's pulled in. You don't know what kind of shape he's coming in. So I think the ultimate solution is Rosenhaus gets him to come into the Jets, probably, around week 9 or 10. He gets active for week 11. They go on by week 12, and he finishes the season, and his and his salary and contract doesn't toll for another year. So I think that's the next big addition.
That's fair.
Yeah.
How many do we win by on Sunday?
I'm feeling pretty confident. There's no reason that I should other than I am. I think it's I think we're gonna win by 2 scores. I'm not ready to predict the score yet. I haven't finished going through, Pittsburgh film, which I like to do to really see who and what and how. And especially for Russell Wilson, because I don't know how that offense is going to look. Their wide receivers don't scare me. Pickens is, he's good. He's big. I think this is an ideal situation where you can now, all the Jets fans have been pining for it. With this game in this team, you can let Sauce follow Pickens. Just take him out of the equation and say, okay, Tavon Austin or whoever the second wide receiver, Van Jefferson, beat us. Yeah, go ahead, beat us.
Very confident with Oliver and Eccles going against those 2 names you just dropped,
and Quantez Stiggers, absolutely.
I would like to see a lot more blitzing.
Yeah, you would, but I don't think
you're not afraid of the wide receivers.
But
this is the week with either Quincy or Sherwood against Freiermuth.
Last week,
send more.
Last week, I think, was the week that I agree with you overall from a high level. I'd like to see more of that because the front 4 can't be relied on as well as the front 4 in years past. So I just don't think this is the week to do it with 2 of your starting 3 cornerbacks off the field. You're asking a lot to put some of these guys in man coverage, man across, no matter who's the wide receiver. But
yeah, I would like to see. I think Ashton Davis is a very underrated blitzer. I think that's one of his strengths, as coming up to that line, maybe lining up over the tight end, and then shooting that gap. If the wide 9 goes high, Quinnen crashes down, and then you bring Davis right through that gap behind him.
Yeah,
I don't know. I want to see a little more creativity. I thought we came out very bland on defense, and I hate that it waited till halftime to correct. I get it. Ulbricht's first game as head coach and defensive coordinator. I'm very curious to see if some assignments or job responsibilities change throughout the week, and you get a little more input from guys like White Cotton and your other assistants. And, Saleh was probably vocal as part of the game plan. And I was very happy that it wasn't a complete shit show and we didn't give up 40, that they stopped it at halftime. So it showed that we were able to still make the adjustments. Just figure that shit out during the week. Like, I'm petrified of Jaylen Warren, that speed back who can get out to the outside on Michael Clemens' side of the field, and he has no chance of tackling him. I'm petrified of Jaylen Warren having a big game. I really am. I think if we lose,
Jaylen Warren's been hurt. He's been hurt, and I know he's coming back off of injury. So, listen, the Jets' run defense could be his get right game. You're not wrong in that. But
if the Steelers win, Jaylen Warren had a very big impact on the game, in my opinion. That would be my prediction going into this. Especially with Najee not practicing today with rib or oblique tightness or stiffness, whatever they're calling it.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
Listen, we had backup running back last week that did a number on us. So at this point, Najee might be the better choice.
Yeah, you almost want to have that more physical back than the speed guy with some shoes out there. Sorry, I'm reading.
That's okay.
I sometimes I read the chat and it just cracks me up. Who do you have us taking in the first round of the 2025 draft?
Depends where we're picking. That's a big one. Listen,
we're 2 and 4, Dom. We're 2 and 4 in mid-October.
I will talk to you about prospects all day long if that's what you want. If I'm being honest, I wouldn't be surprised.
How deep is your dive so far?
I mean, when you say that, I mean, I've watched a lot of film. I haven't gotten multiple games and a lot of I won't kind of write up a player and a scouting report unless I usually get 4 to 6 games on a guy. Yeah. Now it's early in the year, so the database that I have doesn't have 4 to 6 games on a lot of guys. So that's part of it.
Okay.
But I'd say I'd probably have a good top 50 already, which is going to change, But positionally, I think defensive end, I think edge is going to be an avenue that, especially if this regime stays clean, this regime stays in charge, Joe Douglas, I think he could go get himself an edge rusher. I think that the defensive line talent, whether it's edge or inside, is pretty good. I think it's a really, really good cornerback group, although I don't know if we'd spend a first round pick on one. I think it's a good group. I think it's deep.
Yeah.
There's a couple good tight ends, but it doesn't seem to be a priority for the Jets, because if it was, they would have taken, arguably the best tight end prospect to come out in a couple years this past year. So, no money. If I had to put my money on something, I'd say it's edge rusher right now.
Okay. I'm just going to throw a name out there. I love this guy. I think he's phenomenal. I think he's everything that you want at the position in terms of poise, patience, calm demeanor, and just a killer in the pocket as well as mobile.
Okay.
I am a huge Cam Ward guy. I love watching Cam Ward play football. I am by no way, shape, or means a Miami Hurricane fan. I've seen him play twice, and I've seen some highlights. You can't teach poise and calm like that, and the touch passes under pressure or moving. I just think he's got that it factor to him where the game is slow to him, in my opinion. Why? It's in slow motion for him, and it's easy, and that's something that the great ones have. Now, I'm not saying he's going to go on and be a great, but right now at this level, he's playing great, and I really enjoy the kid. What's your thoughts on him? I know he's going to go round 1. How high do you think he gets?
Listen, I think the buzz on him will get him round 1. I don't know if he's necessarily, for me, a lock round 1 quarterback. Although I agree with you, he's done it now in three different places at three different levels. He started at Incarnate World and then moved it on to Washington State before now, at Miami. And his game this year, you're right. It seems like the game of football is slowing down. The thing with Cam Ward, which to me is still a little concerning. And listen, it's not maybe concerning isn't the right word.
Right.
The thing that I think is going to be a flag for some is the amount of turnover worthy throws he makes. Now he gets away with it right now. It's through the roof. So he will be a guy that I think I don't think he's a guy who's turnkey NFL quarterback. He's not a guy that you want to come in and give him the keys to the kingdom.
Okay.
Because it's going to be it's going to be a bumpy ride if that's the case. I expect him to struggle early on. I expect him to, kind of find his way. I'm not saying he's a talented kid. I don't know how NFL ready he is, just because he might need a coach to kind of settle him down, right? Like there's
Cliff Kingsbury at head coach possibility.
Yeah. Listen, I think this quarterback class as a whole, it's not nearly the top end talent that it was last year.
Yeah.
But I think, listen, you talk to guys who are into this, who really study, and the analysts who are into the draft, you can ask 10 of them their top 5 quarterbacks and you'll get 10 different answers.
Yeah, always. Especially this early, but it's just somebody who caught my eye. And
yeah, my favorite quarterback in this class so far, he's my top ranked quarterback, is Jalen Milroe out of Alabama. I think his game is going to translate very, very well to the NFL. Because he's not necessarily a dual threat quarterback in the sense of Lamar Jackson. But he can definitely offer something and do something with his games, with his legs, and affect the game as a runner as well. He's stocky built. He's to me, strong.
He's Anthony Richardson and more polished of a passer.
Yeah, he's got a beautiful. He's improved his mechanics so well in his footwork. He's always had a live arm. He doesn't have an Anthony Richardson strong arm, but he's got a lot more touch. So you'd like to see him clean up some of the mid-range accuracy. And I think he can come in and really be a really good pro. I think Carson Beck's a good quarterback. I really like Carson Beck's moxie. I really like his arm. His arm talent's really, really phenomenal. For him, it seems
I would have liked it a lot more if he played in the first half against Alabama. Didn't wait till 28-0 to show what he is.
Yeah, but like I said, that's a moxie. Like you came back. He came back from a lot there.
I know. I'm a Georgia guy, so it would have been a lot more enjoyable if it was like, hey, 21-7. All right, now you win the game when you turn that switch on.
Yeah.
Joe the Jet G comes in with a super chat asking Don Garrett, Nussmeier, or Quinn Ewers.
Yeah, Garrett Nussmeier is the guy that is he's a guy that's of LSU. He's a guy that's kind of flying under the radar. I think he's got a lot of pro qualities. I like his leadership ability. I think he's got the size. He's got arm talent. He doesn't have elite arm talent, but he's got arm talent. He can make all the throws. And the guy's a winner. Quinn Ewers, all the talent in the world, can't stay on the field, right? And there's the best ability that anybody could have is availability. And Quinn Ewers seems to have, hit that wall where he's consistently has, either a major or a nagging injury time after time after time. So that's, to me, is a flag. I have both of those guys right now. It's early. It's nothing final, but I have second round grades on both of those guys.
That's fair.
Yeah. The only quarterback I didn't talk about was Shedeur Sanders, who I think has all the intangibles and the poise that you want out of a quarterback. I just question his arm talent, I don't think is as strong as
I don't
some of
want
the
to deal
others.
with the family. It's like the
Yeah.
Lamar Ball and LaMelo Ball. Like, I don't want to deal with the family drama that's going to come along with it. And Dion's already saying last year about there's 3 teams I'm allowing my sons to play for. All right, man. Like,
Yeah, that's a headache. That's a headache for
it's
sure.
definitely a headache. You know, Archie Manning pulled the move with Eli, and then you never heard from Arch Manning again about it, right? Like, Eli was Eli.
Oh.
You know, you're not going to get that. Dion makes everything about Dion. And it's just, that to me is a red flag where I don't want to deal with that shit. But hopefully this is not one of the places Dion wants to play or his boys to play. I do like his son as a safety, though. The other one, I do like that. The
Shiloh?
safety. Yeah, I do like Shiloh.
Yeah.
The couple times I watched Colorado rooting against them, I found
Uh-huh.
myself saying a couple times, that's a nice play. That's a nice tackle. That's how you come up and make a hit, you know, in the open field. I did like him more than I like Shador.
Okay.
But all right, sir. Well, I thank you for coming on. It's always a pleasure talking football with you. Jets, life, everything.
Yeah, my pleasure as always, dude.
I appreciate it. Go ahead, plug away. I know we can see you on Talking Jets and Project with Dom C. What are you cooking up?
Talking Jets Monday nights with Ryan when the Jets don't play on Monday, 8:00. We, usually get in there and commiserate over Sunday's game, talk about the game week to come. Thursday, think of it with me, Green Bean, and Gunny. Gunny Gumby on Thursday nights, also through the Talking Jets network. That's 8 to 10. You can catch us there. It's always a fun show, live show, lots of guests, good interaction, good chemistry between the 3 of us. That's always a lot of fun. And get
Who's
ready.
The other guy, you, Gunny, and who?
Green Bean.
I love Green Bean. He busts my balls. I bust his.
Yeah. And then, I got the YouTube channel. There hasn't been a lot going out there now, but now is my time.
Yeah.
So you're going to see a lot more draft content coming out between, now and April. It's go time for me, man.
Yeah. And I look forward to it. Hopefully, we are many months away from Jets mock drafts. Hopefully, we get a little win streak going here. And hopefully next week, I'm not saying, Dom, we're 2-5. You want to come on and do a mock?
Well, listen, you may or may not see a Jets mock draft out on Project Prospect with Dom C soon. Just saying.
All right.
You may or may not.
I'm always looking forward to the names. I look forward to follow. I'm not your level of getting into the breaking down of the players, but I enjoy the process. I enjoy watching the risers, the fallers, the surprise names. By the time the draft gets here, I'm pretty up on the majority of the first and second round picks. Of course, there's always a Cole Strange, like, where the fuck did this pick come from? But it's enjoyable and it makes football fun. It makes football a 12-month sport. The draft, if you're into it. And for someone like you, I learn a lot from you. So I appreciate all the work that you put in and help grow my knowledge on the players. It's always fun to ride that wave with you. So as a fan of your work, thank you.
My pleasure, dude. My pleasure.
No worries.
So thanks for having me on, dude.
Yeah, man. We'll talk more ball in the future. And thank you very much, Tom.
I'll talk to you later.
Later, pal. Be good. All right. Let's get in. What did we learn? What did we learn today? Short show. I know you guys are going to yell at me for that. I just got a couple things that I got to take care of. Just some personal shit I got to tend to. So, no, it's not laundry. Might be laundry. But there's some actual things I got to do. So what did we learn tonight? What did we learn? Oh, thank you, Mo. Thank you. What do we got going on in the baseball world? God damn you, Clancy. Now we go 3 hours, baby. Clancy just solidified it. We got 4-0 Mets. I see the Nets are in midseason form, losing by 22 tonight to the Sixers in preseason. It's totally laundry. It's totally. Yeah, Alex. Dom's great. Very logical. I love talking football with Dom because it's up my alley. It's very logical, rational. It's not crazy trying to get clickbait takes or trying to shock and awe people with views. It's somebody who's right up the same alley as me, I feel. And I've always enjoyed talking football with him, and we connected on a personal level as friends very, very early on. Yeah, thanks. I just gotta tend to some shit. Yes, definitely no Diddy. A little bit. No Dami. We'll say that. No Dami. So, nobody with a what did we learn? All right. Boom. Drop it, man. Boomtown, drop the what did we learn? And while I'm waiting for Boom to drop that, I want to thank all of you for watching. Please like the stream, subscribe to the channel if you're here. And tomorrow night we will have a fun show. We will have a preview of the Steelers Jets matchup. We'll get a little more depth with that, and then we'll open up to some call-ins. So we'll have a fun time tomorrow night. Clancy learned that we may be a minute before Roger makes it back to Bobby's show. Oh, what did I miss? Roger and Bobby? Uh-oh. Well, Clancy, you tell me later. Boomtown, I learned that more information on this booth that Tom Mace is planning to set up for Hand Jobs Appreciation Day. Devontae and Wilson are going to open up the backside. Amen. Amen. Shout out to Mess for gifting a membership. And let me pull YouTube real quick. I'm sorry. I closed it down. That went to loading. It's loading. It's loading. Can't you see? Oh, I don't have my YouTube. My Wi-Fi on. Matthew Smith. There you go. Matthew Smith brought it up last night that he didn't want to pay for his own membership, that somebody had to buy him one, and Mess delivered it the next night. There you go. I guess that's how you get it. You have to say, someone buy me a membership, and then the next show you get gifted one. Mess. Thank you for always supporting the channel and me. I appreciate you, buddy. You're the man. Thank you very much. Now let's see if that Matthew Smith pays it forward. Boomtown. Bonus. Dom C considers Gibson to be a midget. In his own words, Bart Scott got into Nick pretty good. Facts. Clemens' only ability is to be disabled. Dom C has a top 50 list already. Yes, very good. Very good. All right. Thank you, Mess. Thank you, Joe the Jet G. I will be very well rested. Clancy, buckle the fuck up. Tomorrow night will be a 3-hour show. We will go late into the night tomorrow evening. We will have call-ins. We will have fun. And at midnight tomorrow night, we will have a special appearance from the one, the only, Bobby Midnight, coming in here tomorrow night at midnight for a special birthday song. I know you'll be here, Clancy. I'll be here. Everyone should be here. It's going to be fun. My birthday is Friday, and I wanted to start my birthday off with the great Bobby Midnight coming on to be the first to sing happy birthday. I couldn't figure out a better way. I called Bobby, and I was like, Bob, I got a question for you. Any chance you could take a nap during the day Thursday and come on at midnight to sing? Hell yeah. He goes, I'll take a nap. I'm there for you, buddy. So awesome. Little tease. We'll have Bobby on the show tomorrow night. And hope to see you all then. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to go out with what are we going to go out with today? Oh, you got to play this after you mention them, right? Screw it. We'll go out with Blitz again. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching, and we'll talk more Jets soon. Be good. As always, be loud, be proud. New York Jets fans, good night. Thanks for watching. Good evening. Welcome to Thursday Night Throwdown. I'm your host, Nick.
When the blitz comes, there's no one to block him.
It's 10 o'clock, get ready for the showdown. 9 toes down, Nick, ready for the throwdown. We proud Jets fans, we don't play with them pronouns. Best roster in the league, we playing with the pros now. They tell us slow down, call us delusional, call us losers as usual. But this season will be beautiful. Shotgun with you know who, but run it instead. Lad Hall hit the hole hard.
That's what she said.
Ground and pound like it's 2010. The chat, we got many friends. Johnny wearing hats for super chat and watch him breathe again. Nick put the links so Bobby can call and speak again. Bonesy get the blunt, I got the weed and pens. We speaking green again. Jets news like it's CNN. A-Rod and Charles Gorman, it's like we seeing twins. Feeding tins, pounding on these bleeding fins. Week 14 and 18 when they needing wins. They ain't seeing them. We run the ball and play defense. This is AFC hell where the teams repent. Ladies and gents, welcome to MetLife.
Good evening.